Hello, I'm Captain Phoenix, and welcome to my corner. Today I'm doing the 5 record labels challenge, the 5 record labels jazz tag, which was started by the Jazz Bombs, 3 guys having a channel together here at YouTube. I'll leave a link to them below. But the point is to show a record in my collection and your collection, maybe from 5 different labels. Blue Note, Prestige, Riverside, Impulse, and a label that you choose yourself. So here comes my 5 choices. The first of the labels is Blue Note, the big, huge record label, which we know so well because they re-release a lot of fantastic records in these years. The Tone Poet series and the 80s or the classical series. They also released, which just arrived today, as you can see behind me, Blue Train by John Coltrane. So I'm listening to that as well. It just arrived today. It's the 16th of September. But that's not the one I've chosen. I've chosen this one, Dexter Gordon Go, which you see here. And it's this version is actually first US mono pressing. I was very, very lucky to pick this one up at a flea market 9 years ago. It was for 10 Danish kroner. That's $1.50, and it's in a VG Plus condition, so it plays actually very well. And yeah, that's really my lucky day, maybe the luckiest one I have had collecting vinyl. This record sounds great. It has been re-released, I think, last year on this version here, mastered by Kevin Gray, and this one sounds very good. It's silent. It's the sound is clear, so it sounds very good. And that's the copy I normally play when I listen to this record, which I really dig a lot. But there's a difference, except from this one being mono and this one is being stereo. This one is more hot. It's hotter. It's the Dexter Gordon. His saxophone is more focused. It's more on the front, so there's more power in this release, and that's funny. So it really comes alive here. He plays a lot of tunes, standards, and he on the solos he plays with themes from other tunes. It's not getting unserious, but it's funny to listen to. Since I'm Danish, I'll just like to add that Dexter Gordon actually lived several years in Denmark. He had a problem in the United States. He lost his cabaret license, I think, related to drug use. Then he moved to Europe and moved to Denmark and lived here for a long time. Actually, he learned to speak Danish pretty well, but this is before that. And he returned to the United States and was very much welcomed when he returned home. But he had his home here in Copenhagen, where I live, for several years. I think it's in the 70s. Yeah, that was the first one. And the next label is Prestige Records. And Prestige was founded in 1949, I think, under the name of New Jazz, but then it changed the name to Prestige. And the record I show you here is this one. It's Gigi Grice, The Happenings. This is, what is this? This is a 1964 repress. The release is from 1960. But it's the same matrix number, so I guess it'll be the same metalwork. You can see it's on a sub-label, which actually is called New Jazz, so that's a sub-label of Prestige Records. Gigi Grice, not so many people know about him. He made a handful, actually maybe 2 handful of records under his own name in the 60s, and then he stopped playing. He couldn't make it. I think he couldn't make a living out of it. He had a little troubled life itself, but he was very much into fighting for the rights of the composers and the artists. And he wrote some small, what you could say, standards here. And on this one, you can see there's Nika's June, Nikas Tempo, sorry, which a lot of other people have recorded as well. This is a good record, and it's a very cool cover here, very cool jacket. So that was the one from Prestige Records. The third label is Impulse. Impulse, the label started in 1960 by Creed Taylor, and I've chosen the first one, Impulse number 1, by the two trombone players, J.J. Johnson and Kai Winding. Kai Winding is Danish, so I tried to sneak in a little Danish jazz here. This one is I think it's a French. Yeah, it's a French release from 1960. 1960. It's yeah. So it's an early Impulse record. The trombones they're playing, it's actually working very well, but it's a little, it's not so. Sometimes trombones can be a little unserious in search of a better word. But this is a nice record, and they made a lot of good records. Sometimes Impulse is mentioned as the house that Train built, John Coltrane. A lot of his records was on Impulse, and I think Sonny Rollins' debut record was on Impulse as well. So a lot of good names coming out on Impulse. And the fourth is, of course, I've almost said Riverside. And I've chosen this one, Portrait in Jazz, with Bill Evans, the Bill Evans Trio, with Scott LaFaro and Paul Motian. This recording is made in December 1959. This version here, I think, it's the first UK version, not a US version, but it's the first UK press from 1960. Bill Evans was one of the artists who made a lot of good records here, and I have ordered actually a rather large box with the Bill Evans, the Riverside years from Analog Productions. I'm waiting for it. It should be on its way, but it's not here yet. It'll contain this record as well, probably in an even better quality. But this is a really great record, and I can suggest, I've done it in an earlier video, I can really suggest you to catch up on Scott LaFaro if you don't know him. He made three records with the Bill Evans Trio, and died shortly after the last one of them. A great loss. But he really was a very, very talented bass player, and had a fantastic interplay with Bill Evans. As you can see here, is very young. So yeah, that was the fourth label, and then the fifth is the one that you're supposed to choose yourself. And I've chosen a Danish label, Steeplechase Records. And I've chosen this, their second release. You can see Steeplechase, number 1002. It's a duo with Kenny Drew and Niels Henning Ørsted Petersen, a Danish bass player. You can see in the background there. This one is from 1973. The Steeplechase company was founded in 72 by a young Danish student at the University of Copenhagen called Niels Winter. He's still alive. He made recordings in a Jazzhus Montmartre, a very famous jazz house in Copenhagen, and a lot of American jazz players came to live and played and stayed in Copenhagen for several years. Kenny Drew was one of them. I mentioned Dexter Gordon earlier. Ben Webster was another one. Horace Parlan. Stan Getz lived here in the early 60s, which was before this label was founded. But he came back and he released some records on Steeplechase as well. Chet Baker, another artist who recorded on Steeplechase. So this young man, Niels Winter, actually started the record label and made it his main occupation. And it's still releasing records and re-releasing some of the old records as well. I think they've been digitalized, some of them, but the sound quality of the few I've got in re-releases is actually good. So, yeah. check out this one. Check out Steeplechase. There's some good recordings there as well. And let me know what you have chosen. If you want to take up this challenge, take up this vinyl tag, and make a video maybe of 5 record labels here. Thanks for your time. I'll be happy if you subscribe if you're not already a subscriber, and like this video if you do. Thank you very much. See you next time. Bye bye.